Hello, hello, hello. Welcome each and every one of you, my people. You know what it is. It's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan. Let me hear what you're saying in the building. Of course, we're going to be talking about it. It's the premier roundup. Of course, I've got a lot of panelists, but the guys are scared tonight. And the scoreboys don't lie. It was Carnival the other night in Manchester, Old Trafford, guys, and it's a party. Casemiro's cheeky deflection, and then Mbemo twice shut the Doubters up 3 on the trot for the Red Devils. Do you feel that? That's momentum, that's swagger. That's the kind of result that makes you want to go. Let's go, Reds! As the Reds go marching on, glory, glory, Man United, shout out from the top of your lungs. But oh, guys, the league just didn't hand us glory. It served up chaos because Brentford put Liverpool to the sword in a blender and spat them out 3-2. Villa pricked City's pretty bubble as well. It's another interesting one, guys. And of course, looking at it, Arsenal kept climbing, and Spurs, well, they rattled Everton at the Goodison. It's not one of those things, but it's one of those things. You know what I mean, guys? It's not one of those things that you like to see. We were hoping for, a rung of upsets. Even Arsenal maybe getting a draw, but it was not to be. While some teams are taking a big week, some teams bottle it, some teams got boiled over. It's one of those things. And from the vibe, you know what I mean? We got to enjoy it because we're Man United fans and everyone knows what we're talking about right now. So if you're coming in, don't forget to smash the like. Don't forget to share it around. And of course, let me just change this view because this view is not the best. You know what I mean? Okay. So now that you guys can see me better and bigger, it's the Red Devils here, and we're going to be rocking tonight. Let's talk about the Premier League standings, but let's start off with the results of Premier League match week 9. It gets very interesting, guys. Don't forget to let's talk about it. So, where do you want to start? Well, yeah, I think we got to start here. It was one of the best games of the weekend. And I have to tell you, that Wolves Burnley game, you thought it was going to be a clobber fest from the Hatters at Burnley, that you thought that they were going to smash the Wolves up, maybe 4 or 5. But 3 minutes before the second half whistle, Wolves were 2-2. They got themselves 2 goals in under 180 seconds, guys, and they put themselves back in the game, but only for Burnley to steal it late. A classic event and thriller, guys. As you can see, my point for the game. It was an interesting watch for the neutrals, and of course, guys, yeah, you know what it's good, what it is. I know not everyone is a Burnley fan, and it's not for everyone. We're not saying everyone should be. It's just one of those things. You know what I mean? But it was a decent game, and of course, hopefully, in a few days or weeks from now, you will have a Burnley fan, and you would also have the likes of a Wolves fan coming on to give representation on the panel as well. But for now, you're just gonna have me, the Man United fan. So tune in, smash a like, sit down, grab your coffee. Let's talk about some of the football. Let's hear your opinions as well, most importantly, and of course, let us know what you're thinking because we definitely need to get this done. We need to get it all going because at the end of the day, we did have a good weekend, but it's not just about Man United all the time. We got to talk about the competition because it's nothing to sniff at, and this season could turn a few heads. It could be a great change going on in the Premier League because the league leaders, they're not doing too well. But yeah, let's talk about their biggest competitors right now. Man City yesterday going down 1-0 to Villa. It was a bit of Matty Cash set piece magic. City drop points, of course. Villa keep punching above their weight. Hopefully, more to come, more losses for the citizens. You know what I mean? It's not one of those teams that we like to talk about, but you got to give respect where it's due. And of course, they're part of the Premier League, a very good team in their own right. And they are drinking the same water in Manchester because they're the only other team in the Premier League history to have a treble as well in their locker. All the rest are just talking about it, hoping for it, and praying. They're not really just there, they're just hoping. You know what I mean? And talking. talking big in most cases, but they're not really doing anything. But as I can say, guys, it was a pretty interesting game. I think Aston Villa really had a good performance. I don't think Man City was expected to win this game after watching the first half and seeing what was going on in that game. I think it was pretty difficult for them, and they drop points again. Now it gets even more interesting because Bournemouth went to Nottingham Forest, and of course, the flash manager sacking of the season, Ange Postecoglou, sacked twice in less than 6 months. It has to be a new world record. I think it's less than 9 weeks, to be honest, but we'll leave it there. At the same time, Bournemouth 2-0 winners. Tavernier with a worldie. Crossed the ball straight into the goal from the corner flag. I have to tell you, it was well bent in, almost like Beckham, but almost just like Tavernier because he did it all for himself. And it was a very good goal and a solid performance. Krupi coming in with the second goal. Forest short on answers. And of course, a very good week for the Cherries. They're rising on the table. And of course, they're chasing up the pack like a lot of different teams in the league right now. And of course, Brentford, we must talk about the rivals. Kieran, I know you weren't able to make it, but I will try to do justice for the Scousers because, Brentford smashed you. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have a prayer. Your biggest problem started with your need and your want to have Isak in your team. And I would say to all the Scousers and Liverpool fans around, I think you certainly crashed your season spending 150 million pounds after you brought in the 90 million wonder that was Hugo Ekitike. And Ekitike was doing the business for you guys consistently, and your team was looking like they were firing on all cylinders, certainly going to claim another title. And then you brought in Isak, and he walked into that team in front of that guy. And of course, now he's causing that guy to sputter, and he hasn't even begun to stutter. This guy is still searching for his first goal in a Liverpool shirt. And of course, guys, it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon. 100 million pounds, and he's already injured as well. Yeah, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good for the Scouts. And I can tell you, the Scousers, they're probably crying in their cars because they are the only team in the Premier League right now this season with 4 losses on the trot. It's 4 back-to-back losses for Liverpool, and anything they wanted to talk about, maybe it's quads, maybe it's this, maybe it's a quadruple, but they got a quad of losses, 4 back-to-back. You know what I'm saying? Hold that, Liverpool fans. Kieran, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. You had no answers for the game. It's one of those things where you deserve to lose. You know what I mean? You deserve to lose, bro. The way your team is playing is short of hope and very much hope on faith because your defense is in tatters. You're depending on Van Dijk, and let's be honest, guys. His hamstring on his right leg is not that good. His left knee is having problems. I can't even say it right. His left knee is having problems. If you look at the way he turns to his left, he looks like a truck that doesn't have any extra oil. You know what I mean? It's like crank, crankety crank. And that's what's happening. Liverpool is going bank. And yeah, guys, it's not really, really good for them right now. But in other news, Newcastle. Shout out to my boy Strasbourg Steve dealing with some tough things. I hate when fans try to make things ugly for content creators. And I have to say, shout outs to you and my prayers go out to you, broski. Hope all is well. Do the right thing. You know what I mean? These people, they're crazy ones sometimes. But you know it is. Newcastle doing the business. Bruno Gamares, late winner drama. Grit. Of course, when you say grit, you definitely think of Newcastle, a very physical team in the Premier League. They play the way they play, and when they come, they move to you. And they've been trying to move the teams all the way and get themselves up the league. And of course, certainly didn't have the best start to the season, but they're having a good start. And they have a replacement for Isak, who's getting himself in the thick of things with goals. He has more goals than Isak has appearances, to be fair. But hey, what can I say? You know what I mean? Banter is banter. You know what it is, guys. Newcastle 2-1, late winner, big drama, good game. Didn't watch the whole of the game. Was hoping for the Newcastle fan to give us the views because what I saw was most of the first half. and then a bit of the highlights. So, guys, I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? From what I saw, deservingly winners, in my opinion. Fulham, they need to do better. It's a long one for them. But let's get into some of the big time guys because West Ham is certainly looking like cannon fodder. They're looking like they came up from the championship. What is going on? Of course, they just signed, the likes of Nuno, but Nuno's not a miracle worker. It's going to take some time for those players to find the way he wants them to play. It might be a long, suffering road for the West Ham and the Hammer faithful. I'm not too happy for them, but I'm not too sad for them either. I had my own storm last season, so shout outs to you, brothers. Hope you don't get relegated. Leeds 2-1. Storm at home. Aronson with an early strike. West Ham was chasing but ran out of steam. A tactical fight, lots of set pieces, but it told the story. That was what was going on in that game. And I can tell you the second goal was very good set piece taken. And I have to say, Leeds is a team that's going to shock some people. Maybe not us, but they're going to shock a lot of people in this Premier League because they got a team with some players who come from the Bundesliga, played in the Champions League consistently for the last 2.5 or 3 seasons in some cases. So they are going to be a team looking to climb up the table come after January. It will be interesting to see where their rise starts and where it falls. But for now, they're on the up 3 points and they move on. Unlikely and sorry, I can't say the same for Chelsea. Another team coming up from the championship, slapping another Premier League faithful team who's been here, one of the winners of the Prem. Chelsea, who would have think the Lions of Stamford Bridge would be at home but get slapped by Sunderland. Sunderland stun them 2-1. Giant killing continues. A clean defending, clinical finishing, and Chelsea left scratching their heads. An interesting goal coming in from Garnacho early to set the tone for Chelsea, giving the home fans the feeling that they were going on to do the business and win the game. 3 points is on the horizon. My buddy Chelsea Dan was talking so much smack. He was like, "We are above you. Why are you trying to talk so loud with chest? I can't hear you from all the way up there," says Chelsea Dan. And I told him on Friday, I said to him, "Brother, if you lose or you draw, I don't think I'll see you for another couple weeks." And I haven't heard from my brother. I hope he's well. I hope he's not somewhere in his car crying. I certainly hope he's not struggling because he was telling me he was getting some pains. I hope he's well. I haven't heard from my brother in a long time. You know what I mean? But yeah, Chelsea fans are stunned. And I can't say they had a poor performance, but they weren't to the standard that they should have been at. And this is one of the reasons why they ended up losing out. It's a tough one for the Chelsea faithful, guys. A tough one, a tough situation. It's not one of those things you would wish on your worst enemy. But at the same time, sometimes these fans of these teams, they need a humbler. You know what I mean? Man United had a whole season of humbling, but most fans nowadays, they need it more than we do to be humbled. And I'm not saying Chelsea fans needed to be humbled, but yeah, maybe Chelsea Dan needed a little bit of humbling. To be fair, guys, so what I would ask you in the chat, let me know who is your biggest, performer of this weekend. Which player stood out in the match week for you? If it's from your team, let me know. If it's from an opposition team, let me know in the comments, guys. Because it will be interesting to find out. I know there were lots of man of the matches for the game week, but who is your man of the match? And which team do you support? Are you a Man United fan? Are you a Chelsea fan? Are you a Spurs fan? Let me know in the comments, guys. Definitely. Who is your man of the game week? Yeah. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to put some interesting options there in the chat, maybe 4 or 5. But yeah, let's see. Who is your man of the game week? It's going to come down to the wire, guys, because you know what? It's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get very interesting. Now, guys, we're gonna move on while we talk about while you think about who is your man of the game week. Yeah. But let's get into some interesting performances right now because Arsenal, Stoke City ball against Palace, it was downright dirty, a nasty game to watch. With every other pass play, the hands of possession was changing in that game. It was not at all a controlled performance by the Arsenal team. I know their fan base would be saying lots of critical and nice things about that game, but at the same time, I have to be critical. Not only am I a rival fan, but I'm a footballing fan. And yeah, I mean, you have to win games ugly when you can because it shows that your team, is in form. But at the same time, it was as ugly as it can be. You know what I mean? As he scores against his old club an early goal, he doesn't celebrate. Arteta's troop keep the momentum. They say tidy, tense, and professional. But I would say that those were the exact opposite of what they were doing. They were very untidy in moments, and they were very, very, very complacent in their passing. And it was not at all a professional performance unless you want to describe the play that led up to that only goal of the match. And I can't say that, it's me hating on Arsenal, but it's certainly me giving you the best opinion and best neutral reaction I can, even as a rival. It's one of those wins that you have to win. You would expect your team to do it if you're wanting to win a title, because when you win those type of games, it's like you can win nicely, you can win beautifully, and you can also win it ugly. So, I mean, Arsenal did win an ugly one, but yeah, it's Arsenal. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Merseyside wasn't ready for this one. Certainly, I would say Jack Grealish, one of my performers of the season since he joined Everton. Very, very good performances going into his matchups. It's one of those things where I feel like it was unfortunate, that they came up short. Spurs devastating in their attack, destroyed them. You know what I mean? Van der Ven was stunning from the set piece. Then Sarr was sealing it. Moyes is under pressure, and Spurs are making a small message, not a statement, but a small message. We are there. We are there, says Spurs. And guys, I cannot, I cannot say anything other than, it's short of amazing, the fact that what Thomas Frank is doing with Spurs, but they are still Spurs. So we do expect them at some point to make some bottles. You know what I mean? Whether it be glass or plastic, it's going to happen at some point. They're going to make some bottles just like Arsenal. It's just one of those things. It's almost guaranteed to happen. So, it's going to be interesting, but I certainly think there's going to be some interesting opinions on the options that I have here for man of the game week. Of course, you guys could also submit your own opinions in the chat. Please interact with the poll. It really helps. And don't forget to smash likes and share it around, guys. I'm solo tonight for the Premier League roundup, but next week it's going to be a full house. I promise you, it's going to be a full house, and you're going to enjoy it because it's going to be a big one next week because it probably is going to be Man United fifth win. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? Dare I say it? You know what I'm saying? But let's get on to the big guns of the game week. And I have to say, shout outs to the manager, who I am certainly in heavy doubt of. But Man United, 4 Brighton 2. In the last five matchups, looking on as a neutral, you would think Brighton is expected to get some points. Not only that, you would think Brighton is probably even expected to come away winners of the game. But Man United and Brian Mbumo had different things in mind. Matthias Cunha scoring his first goal for the Red Devils, and a brilliant goal at that. I have to say, as much as I criticize the guy and I might not rate the guy, that goal was shout outs to the brother. He's wearing the number 10 with some pride after scoring that goal. Certainly settled his game and certainly went on to shine in his performance. But I would concur to say that Casemiro, 67 minutes of pure amazing. Casemiro, back to vintage mode. You know what I mean? FIFA 26 drop. Casemiro is like 12 stones lighter. He's quicker, fitter, and he's battling himself into man of the match performances in back to back to back game weeks. And I can tell you, when Casemiro sits in our midfield, there is control, and we go forward in a controlled fashion. And he's there to provide that second goal that took Man United 2-0 up. And of course, a lot of people would say it was a deflection, but you have to be there to create the chance. And he was certainly there to create it, and it fell, and it was a goal, and we were celebrating because you know what? It's what we need, and long time coming. You know, we did concede again, but then Man United was able to pull a goal back and make it 3-2, and then 3-1, and then Brentford scored, and it was 3-2, and then United, Brian and Bruno Fernandes with the no look, no touch pass assist of the season. I have to tell you, there is no better vision than the Portuguese Magnifico. Guys, if you haven't seen it, watch it on replay. To be able to conduct that ball the way he did without even touching it, fooling the defender, and also putting Brian Mbeumo out on goal. You can see he always checking over his shoulder. He knew exactly where Brian was going, signaling to Brian, continue your run. The pass is coming. The goal is yours. And of course, you can see in the outcome, it was nothing short of a fabulous finish from Brian Mbeumo. And you know what I mean? Man United roll around top of the situation. Another win, 4 goals in front of the faithful. And I can tell you the attack is working. And if you guys don't believe me, face me. Because guess what? It's going to be a long day for anyone facing Man United right now. And maybe before I would be struggling and I'd be saying to you guys, I don't want to see Cunha starting. But after he scored that goal, what he did and how he played, I may have to eat a hot chip. And I'm not liking that part, guys, because the first time I thought would have been the last time. I won't lie to you. But what I can tell you is I certainly hope I don't eat the hot chip again. Maybe Bali just needs to eat it for vibes. You know what I'm saying? But a bet's a bet. So if at the end of the season I'm eating a number 2 hot chip, what can I say, guys? It's going to be long. But at the same time, I'm celebrating this win. A nervy finish, but there's 3 in a row. Proof Old Trafford's back, alive. The roast, the rivals, it's coming. Yeah, they talk so much smack about United. But let me just remove this banner for a second, guys. You know, let me do this because you guys, they need to see this. Everyone needs to see this big and bold. Watch it there, guys. That's the Premier League standing right now. And as you can see, Manchester United is 6th, tied on points with Manchester City, 16 points, 1 point behind Sunderland and Tottenham Hotspur, 2 points behind Bournemouth, and 6 points behind Arsenal. We're in the top rung, top 6 already. Lots of teams would have been saying, and fans would be saying, not Manchester United. They finished 15th. But guess what, guys? We are there and we are in. And guess what? Maybe we don't finish top 4, but we're certainly going to be in that position within a touching distance. And all the teams are going to have to be looking over their shoulder because you know what? The Red Devils are coming. And you know what we say? As the Reds go marching on. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. It's been your boy, MarkN, MUFC fan. A pleasure to present this stream to you. Hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Baby.